Jelly Roll never shied away from his battles. From serving time in prison as a teen to being one of country music's most popular up-and-coming stars, his path has been far from conventional. At his side, much of the way has been his wife, Bunny XO, a strong, loud, and incredibly loving woman. They have opened up together about their history, suffering, and development, often revealing the most raw moments of their life to the audience in interviews, podcasts, and on social media. But then, something did shift. A post appeared, a clip played, and the smiles disappeared. Fans saw Bunny fighting back tears, and Jelly Roll more reserved than normal. They teased something serious, something that had rocked their world, something called a diagnosis. But whose? And how severe was it? The couple has always been so resilient, so what in the world would possibly drive them to this place? From troubled start to country music star. Jelly Roll, whose birth name is Jason DeFord, was raised in Antioch, a Nashville neighborhood in Tennessee. Things were not easy for him, yet Jelly Roll initially fell in love with hip-hop, being influenced by Southern rap legends such as 3 6 Mafia and UGK. He began small hawking mixtapes out of his automobile. His beginnings included The Plain Schmear Tape and Gamblin' on the White Boy, a series of mixtapes. A track, Pop Another Pill, 2010 collab with Lil White, received more than 6 million hits on YouTube. That energy propelled the Esno hip-hop group and year-round album into existence. He continued to release mixtapes and worked with artists such as Struggle Jennings, Haystack, and Tech N9N. In 2013, he released one of his mixtapes, originally titled Whiskey, Weed, and Waffle House, but was forced to retitle it after the restaurant threatened to sue him. He retitled it Whiskey, Weed, and Women with a cease and desist sticker on the cover where the Waffle House logo once was. Jelly Roll changed over time into country and rock music. Then in 2021, he debuted at the iconic Grand Ole Opry. Then in 2022, his hit single Dead Man Walking became #1 on rock radio. Later that year, he released Son of a Sinner, his first country single, and it was his first #1 on country radio in 2023. He co-wrote the song, along with Ernest and David Ray Stevens, and it also went on to Billboard's Hot Rock and Alternative chart. In 2022, he sold out Nashville's Bridgestone Arena before 15,000 fans. Even big-name acts like Chris Young and Tech N9N appeared with him on stage. In 2023, his Backroad Baptism tour ran through 44 cities, and he won 3 CMT Music Awards, including Male Video of the Year. He released his 9th album, Whitsit Chapel, in June 2023, then Beautifully Broken in October 2024. He's even crossed over into acting with appearances on Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. In 2024, Jelly Roll performed as a guest on Saturday Night Live, singing cuts from his forthcoming album and a Johnny Cash medley with The Roots and Snoop Dogg. He collaborated with Eminem on the single Somebody Save Me and released a track titled Run It for the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 soundtrack. In 2025, he collaborated with Christian artist Brandon Lake on a brawny rendition of Hard Fought Hallelujah. And although he was sued out of his name by a wedding group named Jelly Roll, the suit was eventually resolved. From the confines of a jail cell to the grandest stages in music, Jelly Roll's journey is one of hurt, redemption, and a whole lot of heart, early legal troubles. Jelly Roll didn't have a very easy beginning to his life. His father was a meat dealer and a bookmaker, and his mother, who initially gave him the nickname Jelly, also suffered from mental illness and addiction. Growing up during these surroundings, Jelly Roll thought drug dealing and addiction were the norm. In a tearful interview with CBS News, he described, "I knew my father booked bets. I knew my mom had a drug problem. So, to me, this was just what you did." Even as a teen, while selling drugs, he never let go of music. He remembered those days clearly, saying, "I'm just like, yo, here's a sack of weed, here's a gram of coke, here's a mixtape." Know what I'm saying? I rap too. It was like my business card. Even my drug dealing, to me, was always a means to music. He initially went to prison at age 14 and would eventually be arrested about 40 times over a decade. His crimes included possession of drugs, shoplifting, and aggravated robbery. The most severe charge was when he was 16 years old. He had been arrested on charges of aggravated robbery with a firearm over marijuana and charged as an adult. Looking back on that moment with Billboard, he stated, "I never want to overlook the fact that it was a heinous crime. This is an adult looking back at a 16-year-old kid who made the worst possible choice that he could have made in life, and people could have been harmed, and thank God no one was." Though sentenced to 8 years, he spent only a fraction more than 1 year behind bars. Nevertheless, that felony branded him. Tennessee laws won't permit him to vote or have some opportunities. "Think about how you could change your life so you could pay for the type of house in this neighborhood I was eyeing," he said to Billboard. "My money was welcome, but not me because of something I did nearly 24 years ago." The day he got out of jail in 2008, Jelly Roll learned he had a daughter, Bailey Ann. He met her when she was turning 2 and now raises her and his wife, Bunny. They also co-raise his other younger son, Noah. In 2022, Jelly Roll gave more than $200,000 to the Juvenile Center, where he had previously resided, to establish a music studio for the young offenders. And in 2024, he appeared before the U.S. Senate and stated, "I was part of the problem. I am here now, standing as a man who wants to be part of the solution." His personal life. Jelly Roll has been married to his wife, Alyssa DeFord, also known as Bunny XO, since 2016. Their relationship has remained strong since then, and in 2023, they even recommitted their wedding vows to honor their journey. Jelly Roll also has 2 children from previous relationships, a son and a daughter. He and Bunny share full custody of his daughter, and she occupies an important position in his life and personal life. One of the key turning points occurred when Jelly Roll was 39. His daughter, then age 14, informed him that she wanted to be baptized. Initially, he was cynical. "I should go check out what kind of cult she's going to," he said, he thought, because that's kind of how I viewed church at that point. But what ensued transformed him. He went to the service and was taken aback by what he experienced there. "I was reminded of the sincerity that can be in those walls too," he said. "I was reminded of the humanness and the compassion and the forgiveness, the love and the community, more than anything witnessing her and all of her friends there." That experience renewed his faith. Though he acknowledges that he won't necessarily appear or behave like a stereotypical Christian, his belief is genuine and passionate. "I may dress it a little differently than other people. I may say some things that other Christians don't believe are right to say," he explained. "But in the end, I have a heart for God, and I have a heart for Jesus." In 2024, Jelly Roll used his voice and past experiences to help others when he testified before the U.S. Senate. He stood in support of Senator Tim Scott's Fentanyl Eradication and Narcotics Deterrence (FEND) Off Fentanyl Act. Drawing from his troubled past, he didn't hold back. "I was a part of the problem. I'm here today, a man who seeks to be part of the solution," he said to the committee. "I brought my community down. I hurt people. I was the illiterate guy in the kitchen experimenting with drugs I had no idea about, just like these drug dealers are doing today when they're combining all the drugs available with fentanyl, and they're killing the people we love." Today, Jelly Roll is intent on healing, assisting, and making a difference with his family, his music, and his message. Substance abuse and sobriety approach. Jelly Roll isn't running from his history, he's using it to illuminate the path ahead. In a raw and honest interview, the country music star talked about his battle with addiction, confessing that he used to think drinking only served to power cocaine binges. "I had to learn how to drink all over again without doing drugs," he explained to People, recalling a period of his life dominated by crack cocaine, prison time, and habituated behaviors he didn't recognize. Now 39, Jelly Roll may not claim full sobriety, but he's found a fragile balance. Weed helps him manage anxiety and stay away from harder substances, he says, even if it's a stance that ruffles feathers. "Marijuana has kept me sober," he told Taste of Country. "Without it, I'd be back to codeine, Xanax, cocaine." Although he never did go to rehab, He goes to meetings when necessary and goes out of his way to honor those in full recovery. Above all, he's dedicated to being present at addiction treatment centers, in Congress, and for his children, particularly his daughter, Bailey, whose arrival transformed everything. It was like Saul becoming Paul, he said, referring to his spiritual rebirth behind bars. Having taken home a CMA award and with the fight against the fentanyl epidemic under his belt, Jelly Roll is converting tragedy to purpose. I was one of the ones contributing to it, he shared with the Senate. I want to now be one that helps end it. Accusations of Satanism. In 2023, Jelly Roll found himself at the center of some pretty wild rumors. After performing Ozzy Osbourne's emotional ballad Mama, I'm Coming Home at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, some people on social media accused him of being a Satanist just because of his tattoos, appearance, and the performance setting. The accusations took a toll on him, and he decided to step away from social media for a while. I double down like a real thing, dumbass, he admitted later on the Pat McAfee show. I go, you know what, I'm getting off X, y'all are mean to me. That was so not the approach. Jelly Roll, never shy about his faith, felt misunderstood and hurt. I began getting pulled into strange things that made me feel strange because I'm a man of faith, he explained. I'm like, man, y'all don't know me if you think I'd even, he said, visibly frustrated. He later came back to social media but acknowledged how toxic things had gotten, especially on X, formerly Twitter. This place is different, man, he wrote in a post. I always heard it was the Wild West on here, but man, it's insane. It's a safe place for everyone to say mean shit to each other with no consequences. I'm out, LOL. Then, too, he referred to X as the most toxic negative app to ever exist, period. But the time that killed off the rumors was when Jelly Roll made a statement regarding his religion in a very strong manner. Satan flees from the name that I speak, he said to NME. You understand what I'm saying? That's all I'm going to say. I only speak one name and Satan disperses. I don't care about nobody touching my butt or no Illuminati. Despite all the noise online, Jelly Roll stayed grounded in who he is and what he believes. He admitted the accusations were unfounded and hurtful, but chose not to let them define him. Now he's easing back into the social media world. I'm back on socials. Well, I'm getting back, he said on the Pat McAfee show, signaling that while he's still cautious, he's not letting negativity silence him. In it all, one thing is certain. Jelly Roll isn't afraid to speak his mind, and he's not letting the internet have its way with him. Trademark lawsuit over stage name. In April 2024, country music sensation Jelly Roll was locked in a lawsuit with a wedding band from Pennsylvania. The group, also Jelly Roll, sued and said that their use of the name by the country singer made it confusing to their business. They claimed individuals were confusing their wedding band for the well-known musician, leading to lost engagements and business chances. The case brings out the critical aspect of the entertainment sector, trademark rights. A trademark simply means a name, logo, or symbol used for a brand. It acts as a protective feature for companies in that they cannot be confused with similar names by people. The wedding band felt that the surge in fame enjoyed by Jelly Roll through his top hits was impacting their potential for uniqueness and receiving bookings. Even though both parties are right, the case raises an interesting dilemma. Jelly Roll, whose actual name is Jason DeFord, has been going by the name Jelly Roll for several years, far before he got famous in country music. Alternatively, the wedding band, who have been performing for a number of years, also wish to safeguard their reputation and brand name. Such trademark disagreements are common in the entertainment business. Numerous artists, bands, and companies have encountered similar conflicts regarding name ownership and rights. It usually takes legal professionals to determine who should use the name in a specific industry or territory. For Jelly Roll, this lawsuit could have long-term effects on his career, depending on how the courts rule. It also brings attention to how crucial it is for artists and businesses to secure their names and trademarks early on to avoid future complications. This case is still ongoing, and we'll have to wait to see how it turns out. Challenges with international touring. The Tennessee Board of Parole suggested that Governor Bill Lee pardon country music artist Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll had been candid about his criminal history and desired a clean slate so he could travel more easily and spread his message of hope and redemption. "This was amazing," Jelly Roll stated following the board's ruling. "I pray this passes, but today was special to me, no matter." The board's suggestion wasn't final. Governor Lee still had to okay it, but it was a major milestone. The hearing took almost 2 hours and featured testimony from quite a few people who spoke up for him, such as Nashville Sheriff Darren Hall. One board member abstained from the vote, but all the rest voted in his favor. Despite his history, Jelly Roll has changed his life. He explained to the board that he found songwriting when he was behind bars. "It was something that began as a hobby-type thing that felt therapeutic and would end up transforming my life in ways that I never imagined possible and opened doors that I never thought were possible," he said. He went on to make his mark in country music with hits such as "Need a Favor" and the album Whitsit Chapel. He received numerous awards and 4 Grammy nominations. Now, Jelly Roll wanted to perform in countries like Canada, but his record made travel tough. "It takes a team of lawyers and a mountain of paperwork to secure my entry into those countries," he said. He also mentioned, "I'll still be using this same pardon, God willing, to go do missionary work in my 50s and 60s. Governor Lee replied, "The coverage of Jelly Roll, that's hopeful for his case, but there are actions yet to occur in that situation." Jelly Roll didn't merely wish to go on tour. He mentioned, "I want to be an inspiration for people who are now where I was once, to let them know that change is indeed possible." Emotional moments on stage. Jelly Roll brought a sea of emotions to the stage during his headlining set at the CMA Festival. The audience witnessed an authentic side of the country star, who could not even contain his tears as he talked about the grueling journey that took him to where he is today. He opened up about his past struggles with drug addiction and time spent in jail, telling the audience just how far he had come. Standing under the bright lights in front of thousands of cheering fans, Jelly Roll got choked up, reminding everyone that success doesn't come easy, especially when you've had a rough start. One of the most emotional moments of the evening came when Jelly Roll dedicated his heartfelt song, "Son of a Sinner," to anyone who finds themselves between doing good and doing bad in life. He explained the song was for those somewhere between right and wrong, and it resonated deeply with many people in attendance. He urged them not to quit, regardless of the errors they've committed. His message was strong and unmistakable. Believe in the potential of redemption and achievement despite past failures. Most of the fans in the crowd were taken to tears by him, since what he sang and said struck them as visible and audible. Jelly Roll has long been appreciated for being true to himself and real about where he came from, to a gritty part of town, addicted to substances, serving time in the pen. Now, he is taking the heartache he had and spreading that to give someone else an opportunity. This show was not about the music. It was about hope and second chances. Jelly Roll taught everyone a lesson that anything can change if you have faith in yourself and fight for it. That evening, it seemed as if it was not just a song. It was a letter to all those who have all along been struggling and have felt the urge to quit. By the end of his performance, the whole stadium was applauding not only his voice, but also for his honesty and heart. Jelly Roll didn't perform. He gave away his soul, advocacy, and philanthropy. In 2024, Jelly Roll made a bold move by testifying before the U.S. Senate. He testified on behalf of anti-fentanyl legislation, speaking about his own life to illustrate just how harmful and deadly drug use can be. The experience was moving and impactful. He did not shy away from his past errors. Fentanyl, a synthetic opioid, has been behind thousands of overdose-related deaths nationwide. Jelly Roll understands this world firsthand, having experienced addiction and the justice system personally. But today he's doing everything he can to ensure others don't fall into that same trap. And that's not all. Jelly Roll also paid for the opening of a music studio inside the Davidson County Juvenile Detention Center in Nashville. the same facility where he spent time as a teenager. For him, it's personal. He wants troubled youths to have the same opportunity he had, the opportunity to change their lives. The mission of the studio is to provide children with a creative outlet and a purpose. It's where they can learn, be themselves, and imagine a better future. By placing music in the forefront, Jelly Roll is teaching them that their voices count and that it's never too late to make a change. This side of Jelly Roll, the giver, the mentor, the advocate, is evidence of how much he cares about lifting others. He's not singing only about redemption and pain. He's living it, and leading others there too. With his service in government and his community, Jelly Roll is demonstrating that true change begins with heart, honesty, and a little bit of hope. Personal transformation and weight loss. Country music artist Jelly Roll has come a long way in his health transformation, losing almost 200 pounds since December 2022. He initially weighed 540 pounds and now stands at 357 pounds, with the goal of losing another 100 pounds to get to 250 pounds. This change is not merely about statistics on a scale, but about taking back his life and motivating other people. Jelly Roll's dedication to exercise involves walking 2 to 3 miles every day, 4 to 6 days a week. He also includes 20 to 30 minutes in the sauna and a 6-minute cold plunge every day. These exercises have greatly enhanced his health. His dietary adjustments are also impressive. With the help of nutrition coach Ian Larios, Jelly Roll consumes a high-protein diet with dishes such as a Waffle House-style breakfast bowl and a dairy-free protein poutine. These dishes are meant to be satisfying and healthy, so he can indulge in comfort foods while remaining on track. Aside from physical health, Jelly Roll stresses the need for mental and emotional well-being. He discusses his food addiction openly, comparing it to other serious addictions. He shares his experience publicly as he hopes it could inspire others who are also struggling with the same issues. One of the reasons he keeps pursuing this quest is to skydive with his wife, Bunny XO, in Sweden, a venture that involves satisfying certain weight requirements.